Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my April 2025 book haul. I meant to be sitting here and filming my annual poetry review. That's how I signed off my last video, saying expect me next on here with the poetry review. But I decided to shift things around a bit in my booktube schedule. Not for the least of which is because as I'm filming right now, yesterday in the US was Independent Bookstore Day. Independent Bookstore Day is put on by like the Independent Association of Booksellers as a way to, scrounge up business and also a sense of community. I feel like a lot of cities that take part in Indie Bookstore Day, the bookstores within it band together and they do some sort of book crawl. Like I'm in the DC area, so all of like several bookstores in this area, did this sort of a scavenger hunt thing where you got a map of all of the bookstores, and if you went to like six of them, I think at the sixth one you could go ahead, once you show that they're all stamped off your map, that you could get like a free t-shirt or something like that. I think that's what happened at the one bookstore I went to, which was the People's Book in Tacoma Park, Maryland. I was happy enough just to go to one. I buy enough books as it is throughout the year. But anyway, the People's Bookstore is now, I think, one of the closest bookstores to me personally. In fact, I walked home after yesterday afternoon. It was about a 45-minute walk, but my intent is to be able to do walks like that. The big thing that was a problem yesterday was that I was not prepared for the sudden onslaught of heat. That really took a lot out of me. But anyway, the People's Book opened, I guess, a couple of years ago, and I hadn't gone yet, so I really wanted to check the store out. And they did participate in various ways in Indie Bookstore Day, and so I went ahead and I grabbed some B-roll of what the bookstore was like, and here you go. Well, beyond Indie Bookstore Day, I have acquired a couple more books this month, meaning that at long last, in month 4 of 2025, my hauls have ballooned to beyond 2 books a month. And I'm sure it's going to be the same next month, because next month is Gaithersburg Book Festival. So anyway, I technically have 5 books to share, and they're a bit varied, so I hope 1 or 2 of them at least will appeal to you as well. So I'm going to start with the first book, which is actually a literary newsletter, or journal, I should say. This is Boulevard, and it is published out of St. Louis. I actually subscribe occasionally to the Journal of the Month. They have a variety of literary journals affiliated with them, and I enjoy getting those journals monthly to keep my pulse on what's being published in literary journals in the US. I get about one every quarter, and I read the short stories on my Am Reading videos, so I actually pause my subscriptions whenever I have a backlog as it is, and now I have even more of a backlog. So this is exciting. I found this one in my Writer Salon's free little library, and it's from 2021. So, not something that I think Journal of the Month would be sending me in this day and age. But it's exciting, too, to think, 2021 was a year that, a lot of short fiction went under the radar for me, and now I get to, reclaim a little bit of it, and I'm putting it on my docket for, my Am Reading videos. This next book was self-published by Patricia Frame, who is a local to me author. She is actually in a writing group with my mother. My mother has joined a library writing group as part of her retirement. She's like, it's so fun to see all the, changes she's making in her social life. And so she joined this writing group, and some of the members of the writing group have, gone on to publish. So Patricia Frame has published the short story collection, Rose Did It. And I think these are rather matter-of-fact stories. I'll read from the back. It says, recently retired from her decades-long career as a teacher, Rose moves into the Parkview retirement home. But the new pace of life at Parkview leaves Rose wondering if she's made a horrible mistake. With her quick wit, sharp tongue, and carefree spirit, Rose is running circles around most of the residents. But wherever Rose goes, excitement follows. As she settles into her new life at Parkview, she marches to the beat of her own drum, and it will take more than nosy neighbors and the watchful staff to keep her from having fun. Wearing the perfect hat for every occasion, Rose proves that nothing can outshine a heart of gold. So, yeah, I guess, speaking of someone who might be around my mother's age, this feels like, people of a certain age trying to, keep their vitality up, even, as society might be saying, you're aging out of things. My mother got this book at, Patricia Frame's, I guess, book launch to, support a fellow writer from her writing group. And she gave me a copy. And the only thing that makes me a little hesitant is, most of the books I acquire to read them and share them on BookTube, and I also review them on Goodreads, but this book is, small enough that I don't think there are any other, reviews or readers on Goodreads, so it's kind of awkward to be the only one. I'm actually facing the same thing right now with the poetry collection I'm reading, and about what I want to do about that, but, I could just read them and, not talk about them publicly, but it's always nice to, have something a bit off the beaten path. Now we're getting to my Indie Bookstore Day haul, and actually I'm realizing I said I have 5 books before, but actually in total I only have 4, and 2 of them are here. The first book I got is a sequel called 17 Spoons by Esther Goldenberg. And the reason why I have 5 books in my pile is because I also put the first book here, which is The Scrolls of Deborah. These are both biblical fiction told from a Jewish perspective, and in fact, I heard the author speak at my synagogue back in November, where she talked about the book and then she signed them for us. So in a way, I decided to get 17 Spoons because I wasn't sure if I'd find it easily at other bookstores, because this is also a small press book. And also, this book is signed as well. It's not personalized by like the first book, like, Here's book 1. And here's book 2. But I thought it was close enough that they kind of matched like this, and I was excited to, continue the series, although I haven't read book 1 yet, so now it's really on me. Hopefully I'll actually enjoy these books, and there will be, I think, a 3rd book coming out maybe in the next couple of years. And the final book I got for Indie Bookstore Day and from the People's Book is an advanced reader copy. This is called Gittle's Freedom by Iris Maitland-Love. And so one of the really great things, I complete 10 out of 10, agree with this, that the People's Book decided to do to celebrate Indie Bookstore Day is that if you buy any purchase at the store, you have a pick of, ARCs that you could get for free. I mean, there was a book truck of ARCs and you could pick out one of them. And also add that to, your purchase for free. So, I just immediately glomped on that. I wasn't quite sure in the beginning as I was going through the truck if anything would, stand out to me as something I'd actually want to acquire. But then I started reading the back of this one and got very excited because it's Jewish fiction and it's about a woman immigrating to America from Belarus around the same time that my great-great-grandmother was doing the same thing. So anyway, I don't think I even read through the entire blurb. I just thought, I got excited and I yanked it out. So I will read from it all now. At an early age, Gittle questions the expected roles of women in society and in Judaism. Born in Belarusia and brought to the U.S. in 1911 as a child, she leads a life constrained by her religious Jewish parents. Forbidden from going to college and pushed into finding a husband, she marries Shmuel, an Orthodox Jewish pharmacist whose left-wing politics she admires. They plan to work together in a neighborhood pharmacy in Chicago, but when the Great Depression hits, their hopes are shattered. The years that follow leave them constantly in financial distress, and when a massive stroke leaves Shmuel disabled, Gittle is challenged to combine caring for him, being the breadwinner at a time when women face salary discrimination, and being present for their second daughter. Offering an illuminating look at Jewish immigrant life in the early 1900s America, Gittle's Freedom is a compelling tale of women's resourcefulness and of resilience in the time of limiting and often oppressive expectations. So yeah, I don't think I knew this was set in Chicago, which means it's the Midwest, which is also where my family ended up around the same time. And yes, I'm just very excited to give this a go. And I also like, too, I think, she didn't want to necessarily marry her husband, but it seems like it's that he's not the biggest problem, like, it's not about, overcoming him being oppressive. It's about actually her stepping up to the plate in a way, and that they're able to have a life together, and now she has to, challenge herself when he, is in trouble. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot of intriguing things in here. I also really love the cover design. And this book actually came out on March 25th, but the copy I have is an advanced reader copy, which I'm very grateful that I got for free. And that about covers it for me now. I'm going to leave links to all of these books in the literary journal down below, and also a link to the People's Book if you want to check it out. Bookstores feel a lot closer now that everything's online anyway, and I really enjoyed, going to social media and to the hashtag Indie Bookstore Day to see all of the ways other, bookstores across the country were celebrating. So I hope all of you in America were able to go and have fun if you did and find some great books. And if not, I hope you find great books on your own as well. I will be back on this channel, hopefully imminently, with another Am Reading video for April, so stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.